The spring playoffs are closing in on the Sports Desk. We break down the Pioneer League softball race. Is El Segundo going to grab the top spot? On the volleyball court, the South boys volleyball team claims the Pioneer League title. The Spartans lost their top-ranked spot in Division III. Will it affect them in the playoffs? The Knights started the season slow, but managed to turn out a successful second spot in the Delray League. Just how'd they do that? The Pioneer League track prelims begin the hunt for the postseason with a bang. Who was in time for it? There's all that and more. So get fired up, because the Sports Desk starts right now. Hello and welcome to the Sports Desk. Lakers, Clippers, Clippers, Lakers. Who knows who your favorite is in these NBA playoffs? Saxons, Spartans, Tartars, Spartans, Saxons. It's the same kind of thing in these Prep Pioneer League playoffs. Let's go ahead and take a look at a game, though. The Lady Saxons are on a 7-game win streak with success in tournament and league play. When did they last lose a game? Against this next team in this story, the Lady Spartans. Is this game a pitcher's duel between Saxon Kelsey Cairns and South's Carolyn Snodgrass, or is it something else? Let's take a look. Start at the bottom of the first, 2 outs, 2 runners on first and third. South pitcher Carolyn Snodgrass winds up with catcher Jasmine Adame missing the ball. Bria Barra will come home for the Saxons' first run. Jumping to the bottom of the fourth, Spartans have 2 outs. Sammy Meyer doubles to left field. Paige Kisling comes from third for the equalize. But wait, are the Spartans finished? Denise Flores is going to try for home, but Coco Tawali'i drills it to Gabby Fortiani for the out. It's the bottom of the 6th, score still tied at 1. Bree Barra power hits it all the way to center field. Is it over? No. But hey, that hand lets her know it's safe to go to second base. Runners on first and second. Megan Otino at bat. She sends it all the way deep into center field. This 2-run double breaks open the game. The score is now Lady Saxons 3, Lady Spartans 1. South pitcher Carolyn Snodgrass is feeling the heat. She has 11 strikeouts, but is it the next batter? Alexis Hinden wants to serve up Megan Otino, a Knights home plate, and she does. Megan comes home for the 4th run of the game, but wait! Jordan Stamps wants to get to third, but it's a game of cat and mouse, and South gets her out. It's the bottom of the 7th. Junior Vanessa Gonzalez is trying to break a record or something. Hits it over the fence for a home run. This is the outfielder's 8th home run of this season. The Saxons would go on to win it 5-1 over the Lady Spartans. Let's go ahead and talk to Megan Otino, who broke open that game. See how she feels about her play.
Just to help pick up our pitcher because she pitched great. And I knew those runs needed to get in, so I wanted to do whatever I could to hit them in.
But Megan definitely gives credit where credit is due. Kelsey Cairns with the strikeout. It's definitely a team thing here for the Saxons. The Saxons seem to have it all again this year. Strong pitching, power at the plate, and improved defense. They looked primed and ready for the CIF playoffs. The 5-1 win over the Spartans was a refreshing result for the Saxons. Megan Otino was a hit with the go-ahead 2-run double. In the 6th that brought home Coco and Bree, Kelsey Cairns won her 11th game of the year, striking out 11 Lady Spartans. But just because South lost doesn't mean they aren't in the race for a top spot, much less for a playoff race. Welcome back. It is time to talk some dirt, and I don't mean gossip. I mean softball with Sports Desk softball analyst Ashley Morgado. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me, and I'm ready to talk that dirt.
It is a really interesting race we have going right now in the Pioneer League softball race. It's still going on, and there's 1 week to play. What do you think?
It is an interesting race. North is sitting pretty at that #1 spot, but South, El Segundo, and Torrance have all split losses to each other, so it's definitely going to be a tough race to take out #2.
That's right. North has pretty much been on top all season. Their 1 loss was to South, but as we just saw in that last story, they avenged it in that 5-1 win. And we have some other stuff we're going to talk to you about. But first, let's go ahead and talk about the El Segundo Eagles, who have a lot of young studs that are keeping them in this competition. They had 2 huge wins over Torrance and South that proved to this league that the Eagles should not be underestimated. With league play winding down, the Eagles are sitting pretty to qualify for this CIF race, and the Lady Eagles were 6-2 in the Pioneer League earlier this season. The Eagles took down Torrance with a 9-7 victory, and then 2 days later, they surrendered to South High with a grueling 1-0 win. And at one point, El Segundo had the same league record as the leading North Saxons and were in contention for first place in the Pioneer League. However, as this season has played out, the Eagles are in second, and those 2 wins still make the teams in this league tremble. And they have a pretty good pitcher in McCall James. She's finding her own this circle. The bats are coming alive with players like Julia Smith, who's stepping up for the team. So they have a lot of young and raw talent, Ashley, but that doesn't mean that they can't take off any of the teams that they have left to play. The Eagles look strong, so it's up in the air who's going to take that number 2, 3, or 4 spot.
And now, Bonnie, I talked to head coach for South, Kevin Van Wardenberg, and he said that because the Pioneer League is so strong, there's a really good chance that all 4 teams could go.
That's right, and actually 3 of the 4 have been ranked topped in their division, and now I think the North Saxons are the only one who are still ranked in Division 3. That means it's really anyone's game, so we have gone over the El Segundo Eagles. You think that there's a chance that the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place might be Torrance, South, and El Segundo?
Yeah, let's talk about those Tartars right now. So, Torrance Tartars have shown that they have what it takes to go all the way, and in years past, they have had a strong playoff performance. However, this year, for whatever reason, they have struggled to put it all together, especially when under pressure. Take a look. The Tartars started their season on a high. CIF ranked the stack team number 8 in the opening poll. However, in league play, they have struggled to combine their offense with their defense. Some games they put the 2 together, like their recent 2-0 shutout victory against El Segundo. But then some games they don't. Case in point, their 6-2 loss against South when they had 5 fielding errors. By now, after 29 games, this team should really be gelling. But unfortunately, I believe that the inconsistent defense doesn't allow the pitchers to have complete confidence on the mound. This team will have to find a way to pull it together if they hope to not only advance to CIF, but make it past first rounds. Pitcher Christina Washington has 19 wins under her belt as the starting pitcher. Cameron Watts, who is only a sophomore, is a solid stud at shortstop, picking up that heat down the middle. And Captain Danielle DeCastro is a hitting machine. Now, let's talk about the South Spartans, who have had some unfortunate losses, even when their stud on the mound has had amazing performance. The Spartans show great potential to go far in these playoffs. It will just matter how badly they want it. The Spartans have had a roller coaster of a season. They lose to Torrance, but then they take a great win from North. They lose to El Segundo, but then they revenge their loss to Torrance. Unfortunately, the Spartans' up and down playing is caused by their offense. Pitcher Carolyn Snodgrass is doing a tremendous job on the mound, pitching a 142 earned run average in 19 games, and she's averaging double-digit strikeouts for every game. The reason for their losses is not being able to get people to cross that plate. If the Spartans hope to go far in postseason, they will have to really knuckle up in that batter's box and put some runs on the board. Carolyn Snodgrass had 29 strikeouts against Torrance in 2 games. Alex Kassoff has been the Spartans' leadoff because she gets on base with that slap-hitting ability. Denise Flores is hitting 3rd in the lineup and doing a great job as cleanup. The Saxons got the Pioneer title last year, and they will be claiming it again this year. So now they are on to move to their next goal, and that's a CIF title. I don't think anything will be getting in their way this time around. Throughout their season, the Saxons have stayed solid. Their only loss in league play so far was to South, but they got back at the Spartans with a 5-1 victory last week. These girls have won 21 of their 27 games and will most likely add 2 more W's after league play finishes. As of now, they are ranked 7th in the Division III softball poll, so this team will have a great first-round matchup. To advance past second rounds, though, this year, they will need to stay confident and not get cocky. They cannot underestimate any contender, and they must worry about their dugout and how they play. However, with 5 seniors, including shortstop Coco Ta'awili and pitcher Kelsey Cairns, I think they will be able to settle and lead their team through a great postseason. Starting pitcher Kelsey Cairns has 11 wins this season. Coco, who is committed to BYU, is solid up the middle, holding down this Saxon defense. Sophomore Brianna Ibarra is a stud hitter. Against South, she had 2 doubles, and she's had 3 home runs this year. Jordan Stamps is another senior adding to this team's experience. And Bonnie, she's headed to Delaware next year.
So Ashley, as the current standings show, we have Saxons in first, Eagles in second, and that third and fourth spot has kind of been taken over either by the Tartars or the Spartans. I don't think it'll end up that way in the final standings. What do you think?
I don't see it being that way either, just because South especially has had a much harder and more difficult season than the Eagles of El Segundo, and so is Torrance. But the Eagles and the Spartans are going to meet this week, so it's going to be an interesting spot to see who's going to take it.
That's right, and playoff pairings are going to be coming in next week. And with any luck, all 4 of these teams will make it into the postseason.
Yeah, I talked to head coach for South, Kevin Van Wardenberg, and he says that because the Pioneer League is so strong, all 4 teams could go.
That's right, and there's even a chance that it might be like a few years ago where North and South, or North and Torrance, or North and El Segundo, notice how I always say North, will stay in it. They might actually play themselves, not themselves, they might actually play one another deeper into the playoffs, so it should be pretty interesting. Ashley, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me. It's great.
And Ashley, right now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the prep baseball standings. Let's go ahead and talk about it, folks. In the Pioneer League, there are some shakeups and surprises, so let's take a look at the results going into the final week before the playoffs begin. The Saxons are no longer on top or undefeated. They got knocked off in 2 games by El Segundo. Dalton Erb had his first loss of the season in the second game in that 5-3 loss. Now the Eagles are on top and just need to beat current 4th place South Torrance for the title. So it's like watching your brothers back if South can pull out a win over those Eagles. The rest of the top 3 spots are a toss-up. Since it's such a competitive league, there's a chance the top 4 will make the playoffs, kind of like the girls softball team or softball league. But if you remember, last year North beat South for the 3 spot and the chance to compete in CIF. Taking a look at the Bay League standings, Costa is on top. Their only loss is to 3rd place Redondo. PV is in 2nd. Peninsula is in the 4th spot. West should win the rest of their league games since they play Lusinger, but they can hang a hat on that spoiler against Redondo. Let's take a look at another final league standings. The Del Rey League's top 2 teams are ranked in their Division 4 at the 2 and 3 spots. Bishop Amat's only losses were to, of course, LaSalle. In such a tough league, St. Paul and B-Money gaining ground to the postseason really hasn't been there much at all. That's all the prep baseball news we have for you at the moment, but stick around because after the break, we go to the volleyball court. Thank you.
We're asking folks about marriage.
You know, marriage makes me think of sports. You know, teamwork, dedication.
Okay, let's see what people say.
Let's say your marriage is a sport. What sport would it be?
Basketball. Surfing.
They have to be a team sport.
A lot of back and forth.
A lot of people watching.
So how many people are influenced by your marriage?
Hundreds.
You really think about the ripple effect.
It's like a wave.
Want to improve your marriage? For ideas, go to foryourmarriage.org. A message from the Catholic Church.
Welcome back. The South Spartans boys volleyball team is the undeniable Pioneer League champion, but how sweet it will be if they can close it out by going undefeated. With the loss to Warren a couple weeks back, they lost the #1 ranking in the division. Can they maintain their A game against a very tricky El Segundo squad? Aaron Giddens slams us the story.
The South Torrance Spartans are coming off a loss against Warren. They're looking to close out their conference play with a win against El Segundo. If they win, they'll be undefeated in conference play.
South showed why they are ranked #2 in Division 3 as they get a quick score to start off the first game. UCSD commit Peter Nordell makes a monster kill later in the game to put South up 13-10. Senior Jason Chang, who had 28 assists for South, makes an easy play, extending South's lead 19-15. Set point for South, Chang sets up Garrett Nodai for a play that startles El Segundo, giving the Spartans the first game. El Segundo didn't have a chance in the second game against plays like this from 6'6" Nordell. Senior Andy Gage with the big save, and a block by Chang brings the score 21-14 South. This great offensive play gives South set point. El Segundo makes it too easy for South, giving them the second game 25-18. El Segundo was leading early in the third game, but this kill ties the game at 4. Everything seemed to go South's way as this play sets him up for match point. Last chance for El Segundo to make something happen, but a huge block by the league's MVP seals the match for South. The Pioneer League champs are ready for the playoffs. Coach Kevin McKelvey says their tough schedule has prepared the team for postseason.
We tried to give ourselves a very competitive schedule. So, we scheduled Burroughs in the middle of the year and a night game, so we can sort of duplicate that atmosphere. We put ourselves in a tough tournament last weekend, the Redondo tournament.
Senior middle blocker Peter Nordell says the team knows their competition.
We have seen all of the 1, 2, and 3. Well, we're number 2 now, and we've seen Warren at this past Redondo tournament, and we beat Burroughs the last Friday. And so we've seen all the competition that we're going to get.
Senior outside hitter Andy Gage believes the team will be ready for Warren a second time around.
Well, we saw them in the tournament. We were all really tired. We made a lot of errors that we shouldn't have made, and the game just didn't go our way. A few points, so I think if we play the way we know we can play, we should be able to take them.
Good luck to the South Spartans as they start their playoff run. At South High School, I'm Erin Giddens for the Sports Desk.
Woo, South's roster includes D1 talent for sure. We'll tell you about who's going on scholarship and maybe some future Beach pros by the looks of it. The 3-game sweep of the Eagles showed Andy Gage on fire offensively and defensively. Garrett and Ross were in the mix for the win, and Jason Chang was all over the floor doing his own amount of sweeping. Their overall record going into the playoffs is 21-4. The final Pioneer League standings put South on top. El Segundo is next after losing only to South, and North is in third, obviously losing only to the top 2 and beating the bottom 2. Torrance looks forward to next year. South and El Segundo will host in the first round of the playoffs, with North going on the road. Let's go and talk Del Rey League. If the B-Money Knights win against Bosco Tech, they will secure second place in the Del Rey League. They don't have a shot at first since Cathedral is sitting pretty on top, but second place will get them into an easier playoff path. Reporter Adam Sorreo brings us this action.
The Bishop Montgomery boys volleyball team is excited to finish off the season strong as they take on Bosco Tech, looking for a good seed in the playoffs. Strong is exactly how they would come out, as they basically scored at ease behind the great setting of Travis Pyrek and the vicious spiking of Eddie Specht, seen here after the Knights already held a 1-0 lead over Bosco. Specht kept his team in it with power like this, and the Bishop Montgomery defense didn't disappoint with blocks like that, as the team led the whole way in the second set. Bishop didn't only rely on power, even though they had a lot of it, but Specht showed Bosco how the service game is supposed to be played, with an ace right here into the front court of Bosco Tech. Donovan Gonzalez came up for Bosco and said, yeah, I can do that too, but he overshoots it right here and hands Bishop Montgomery their second game in a row to take the 2-0 lead. From there on out, Eric Specht continued to be the hero for the Knights, whether he was spiking the ball for kills there or setting up serves that Bosco Tech just couldn't handle. The Knights jumped out to a 19-12 lead before finally putting the match away, winning the third set 25-14. The victory for the Knights has them sitting alone in second place in the Del Rey League standings just before the playoffs get started.
Obviously, the Cathedral team is the 1 seed. We beat that team this season, so I feel that, if we can play our game, play consistent, we have the athletes and we have the ability to go all the way.
Head coach Kevin Norman and the Knights know that the road to a CIF trophy goes through top-seeded Cathedral, who they've split this year's season series with. But with enough positive energy, the team may just have what it takes to pull it out. For the Sports Desk, this is Adam Sorreo.
Thanks, Adam, for that wrap-up. The Bishop Montgomery Knights might have started slow in the Del Rey League, but came out strong with a sweep against last place Bosco Tech. Cathedral is in obvious first place, whose only loss was to the second place Knights. We go to the track after the break. We're going to take a look at the Pioneer League prelims and see who has the best chance at going deep into the playoffs. Don't go anywhere because it's right after these messages.
I love the concept of mentoring because you're really able to make a difference in the life of one young person.
My mentor is a role model for me. She told me about all the opportunities that there is in life.
She has transformed into an amazing young woman, and I feel so fortunate to be a part of that. I think a mentor can really open the eyes of a young person to all the possibilities that are out there for them if they just go after their dreams.
So get involved and do your part. Invest in the future. Mentor a child.
The Pioneer League track finals were more than a few stars on the highest podium. South dominated the prelims, showing that their talent will progress well into the CIF playoffs. But that wasn't all we'll see in these Pioneer League prelims. They're going to go ahead and be shown to us by Brittany Johnson.
I'm here at the Zapparini Field for the first day of the high school track and field prelims. And while all Torrance teams are doing pretty good, it's the Tartars that's taking all the events. The Torrance Tartars boys and girls team went 5-0 this year and are holding down the title of league champs. The boys have been league champs 4 out of the 5 past years, and head coach Kyle Irvine tells me this is the first time in his 14-year career that the boys and girls have been Pioneer League champs at the same time.
We're strong overall. Team-wise, we have a lot of depth. I mean, I have runners who do more than 2 events in our meets, but I don't want to say that we're stronger in the distance than the sprints. Overall team depth, you know, we're a good team, very good team, and that's why we are league champs.
One of his top runners this year is senior standout Elima Kung. She runs the mile and the 800 meters. Seen here running the 800, Elima took first place in her heat, running a 2:30 flat, which guarantees her a spot in the finals. And she says her goal is to do a better job in the finals this year than her previous years.
Well, I definitely want a PR from my sophomore year. I think my PR is 2:24, so I definitely want to break that time.
The South Spartans weren't too far behind the Tartars, and they also had some athletes break some records today.
I just broke the school record, running 12.01.
Even though Alexis Henry just broke the school record for the girls' varsity 100 meters, she's looking to accomplish a lot more than that.
I'm close to breaking the 200-meter record, school record, and my fastest time so far is 25.7, and the record's 25.5.
Tyler Adams also broke some personal records today for the girls' varsity long jump.
I got 15.4.5, which is my PR, so I did really good in that. And I got first place, so.
Have you PR'd in anything else this year?
Yeah, actually just today I got the PR in my 100. I've got 12.6.
All teams may have been racing for the finish line, but it was Torrance who took a 73-63 victory over South to clinch the Pioneer League team title. So will they be the top 2 teams in the finals? Stay with us to find out. Reporting from Zapparini Field, I'm Brittany Johnson for the Sports Desk.
Thanks to Brittany, Alexis Henry emerged as a quadruple champion for South. Henry won the 100 in 12.24 seconds, the 200 in 26.17, and ran on both of the winning relays. At South won first. Alexis anchored the 4x100 relay team of Curly Yang, Tyler Adams, and Isabella Ofsanko to a 51.24 mark. And Alexis didn't stop there. She closed out a memorable meet, anchoring the 4x100 relay team where she couldn't have done it without Courtney Smith, Kirsten Ishii, Isabella Ofsanko for a first place finish. West showed up at the Bay League finals, and we'll bring you the CIF contender for all of the Torrance teams in the coming weeks. And by that, I mean West actually did a good job. But right now, let's talk about how you can let us know something we don't. Give us a call at 310-618-5762. You can email us at thesportsdesk@torranceca.gov. You can view all of our shows online as well. Take a look there at something new on this graphic, youtube.com/Torrance CitiCABLE. That will basically take you to our channel on YouTube. And what that will do, you can see This Week in Torrance, which is our news program, and you can check out the last 2.5 years of all of the Sports Desk episodes. So I didn't get a chance to mention it because we're running out of time. The El Camino baseball team is going to the Super Regionals after beating Southwestern in the regionals. So congratulations to you guys. You got great pitching, great defense, and great power at the plate. So I'm sure we'll be talking about you at the Bakersfield College State Tournament. So until next time, Torrance, play hard.